Hey guys, Irene here, and today I'm going to show you how I edited the backlit images from the last behind the scene video. If you haven't seen the video, I will link it in the description down below, but this is kind of what we're going to be trying to achieve. So on the left you have a picture that's straight, raw image from the camera, and on the right you have the image that's edited. Today we're going to be actually editing this image right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start with opening it in Photoshop, and it opens it in camera raw. I shot all of my pictures in raw, and it's a very important step to editing the backlit images. If you shoot them in JPEG, you're not going to have as much creative power over the images. The image is not going to have as much information in it, and so you won't be able to bring as much detail back in post. But if you shoot them in RAW with just some easy steps, you will be able to bring the details back and light her up just with natural light. I don't use strobes, and I use reflectors mostly for just beauty shots. For this shot right here, I didn't use any additional light except for just the window light, because as you can see, I can easily bring back the details with just sliding the shadows up a little bit. Okay, so I don't want to bring them too far up, and I want to play with the white balance a little bit. We're going to make it a little bit more yellow, and we're going to add just a little bit more of the pink. Actually, I think the pink is fine. Let's just slide it more towards the yellow right here. I want these pictures to have a warmer tone. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's make it a little bit more contrasting, and let's lower the highlights a little bit as well. As you can see, if I'm lowering the highlights, the background becomes more interesting and more detailed. So this was the before, and this is kind of the after on the highlights. The only thing is, when you play with shadow and highlights, it actually brings up a lot of the detail in the skin, but we're gonna get rid of that later. Let's give it a little bit of clarity, just like a 3, and let's put the vibrance up a little bit more. So all I usually do here is I just play with different settings and kind of figure out what I like. Let's actually go to the colors here on the luminous. No, let's do the saturation and make the yellow more saturated. Let's make the magentas more saturated. Alright, so I think this is good. So this is the before and after, just in camera raw. I really like this, so I'm gonna go ahead and just open the image in Photoshop. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the crop a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bit wider. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the selection tool and select this area right here, and then right click on it, free transform, right click, distort, and just stretch it out to the side. And then I'm just gonna apply the transformation, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing on this side. Let's try not to grab her hand in it so we don't stretch it out. Free transform, distort. I can easily just stretch out the sides because I was shooting at such a low aperture that it doesn't really disturb the background much. So the next thing I usually do is some liquefying. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate my layer, go to filter and liquefy. I guess I didn't notice that I didn't stretch out this side very well, but it's okay. We're going to just fix it in filter here. Okay, so I'm going to push her waist in just a little bit. And I'm also gonna push her shoulders down just a touch. These are the tiniest little changes. I'm not doing a lot, and just be careful when you're using the liquefy tool, because you can really make it look unnatural. So you just have to do the tiniest little movements. And I always go ahead and make the hair bigger. Especially I like to stretch out these little tiny hairs because it makes it look a little bit more soft. Let's stretch out a little bit here. Alright, I think that looks good, so let's go and save that. And here's the before and after on the liquefying. If you liquefied the background a little bit, what you can do is take your eraser tool and just erase around it. But I don't think it really disturbed the background too much, and it's not very visible anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and merge my layers. So the next thing that I'm gonna do here is work on her skin. So let's get a lot closer. The focus on this particular image is a little bit softer than the other images, but I really don't mind it. I like when the picture is even slightly out of focus sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate my layer as usual. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the patch tool. If you don't have your patch tool selected, it's usually on the healing brush. So go ahead and right click on your healing brush and then just select the patch tool. For some reason I like working with patch tool more than a healing brush, so that's what I usually like to use. So let's get pretty close, and the way the patch tool works is that you will circle up the imperfection and then you would just move it to the side where there's no imperfection, and it copies that skin on top of the imperfection, if that makes any sense. And I'm using my Wacom Intuos tablet to do this, so it's very fast and easy to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably speed this up and show you guys the final result of the skin retouching. Alright, so this is the before and after on the skin. Now I'm gonna do some color matching. As you can see, there's a little bit of kind of darkness going on right here that kind of goes in one stripe, and I want to make it more soft. So I'm gonna go ahead and make another duplicate layer. And I'm gonna use few techniques. I'm gonna use a patch tool, and I'm also gonna use just kind of brushing the color onto her skin. So let's start with patch tool, and I'm gonna lower my opacity to about 40. And I'm just gonna go ahead, and whenever I see that stark line between different colors, I'm just kind of gonna try to blend it away so there's no harsh lines. So this is before and after the patch tool. As you can see, we kind of fixed it a little bit. Let's make another duplicate layer. I'm gonna go ahead and merge these and make another one. And this is gonna be the last one for the skin. What I like to do is take the sampling tool, sample up the area that I want, and then with the soft rounded brush, I go really, really lightly onto the skin. I am using a tablet, so I don't really need to worry about my opacity. But if you are using just a mouse, I would definitely recommend you lower your opacity to very low, like 20% maybe. And I'm just gonna lightly tapping it where I want to distribute the color. And then I'm changing the colors and tapping it where I want it to go. Let's choose this rosy cheek color right here and put it a little bit more over here. Alright, and then this is kind of what we did. If you don't like it, you can always lower the opacity even lower. Okay, yeah, that's great. And let's do one more round of the patch tool. Again, I'm gonna lower my opacity. Let's actually back it up a little bit too and see what it looks like. Okay, we're almost done here. Alright, I think that actually looks pretty good. I don't think we really need to do anything else on the skin on the face here. I'm just gonna also kind of get rid of some of the texture on her arm. So I'm just gonna choose the color here with sampling tool and then just kind of brush on that color onto her arm. Again, you have to be pretty careful here and just make sure that you're using very low opacity, very light brush strokes to make sure that it's still looking very natural, because it's very easy to make this look very unnatural. Alright, so I think that looks pretty good. This is the before and after. So let's go ahead and merge them down. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start an adjustment layer, and I'm gonna make it with curves, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit more contrasting but still a little bit lighter, just about that. And I'm gonna press Ctrl I to invert my layer, and what it does is that now when you pick up the brush, you can brush on your adjustment onto the areas that you want. And I want to brush it on only on top of the model, so I'm gonna go ahead and with the soft rounded brush, I'm brushing it on top of my model, and here you can see the result. It's very little, but it definitely does the magic. Alright, that looks great. Now I'm gonna go ahead and dodge and burn just a little bit. So I have already my presets made for dodge and burn, and I've showed you guys how to do this multiple times. So I'm just gonna kind of skip this step and link the videos that you guys can watch on dodge and burn separately. Alright, so this is a result of the dodge and burn. I'm gonna go ahead and merge these. And let's do a little bit of color correction. I'm gonna open adjustment layer with selective color. I'm gonna go ahead and choose my yellows. Make them a little bit more yellow. Reds, a little bit more red. Magentas, more magenta. And then I'm gonna choose the whites, and I'm gonna make them a little bit more magenta and yellow. Okay, more magenta than yellow. Alright, so this is after the color adjustment. I'm gonna lower the opacity just a little bit because I think it's a little bit too much. Yeah, that looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and merge these layers. We're almost done with the image. I'm just gonna go ahead and save it now and reopen in Camera Raw. I know a lot of people are confused about why do I have to save it and then reopen it. It's because I'm using Photoshop CS6. If you have Photoshop CC, it's a lot easier for you. You can just go into filters and you're gonna see Camera Raw there. But as you can see, I don't really have it in my filters yet. I will upgrade to CC at some point. I'm just too lazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save my image. And I'm just gonna go ahead and reopen it in Camera Raw. All you have to do is go to File, Open As, find your image, and here change it to Camera Raw, and then press Open. And again, it opens it in Camera Raw. What I want to do here is bring up more clarity, bring a little bit more exposure, contrast, bring the shadows up again just a little bit, and the highlights down. Okay, let's just see from the far. Alright, yeah, this is beautiful. Actually, let's bring the vibrancy just a little bit. Okay. So this is it. This is the final image. Let's compare it to our original image. Alright, so here's our before, and this is after. Before and after, before and after. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. As usual, give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel to not miss any of my new videos, and I'll see you guys in my new video. Bye!